Okay, should be good to start.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Voorhees Township Committee meeting of June 28, 2021. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise and join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of
flag
the
of the United States of America
and to
and
the
to the
republic
republic
which stands
which stands
one nation
nation
under God,
under God.
liberty and justice for all. May we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Fetroy,
Present.
Mr. Platt,
Here.
Mr. Ravitz,
Here,
Ms. Nacito,
Here.
Mayor Mignona.
Here.
Good evening, everyone. This meeting is being held in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Due notice of the meeting has been published by the clerk and the Courier Post on the township website as well. This meeting is being recorded and is also being held virtual without a public formal meeting place in accordance with 2020 Chapter C11. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Our first matter this evening is the first reading of a bond ordinance authorizing the completion of improvements to various township buildings and grounds, appropriating the sum of $825,000 therefore, authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds or bond anticipation notes of the Township of Voorhees, County of Camden, New Jersey, in the aggregate principal amount of up to $783,750, making certain determinations and covenants, and authorizing certain related actions in connection with the foregoing. Is there a motion on the first reading of that bond ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Our next matter is the first reading of a bond ordinance authorizing the completion of various road and related improvements in the Township of Voorhees, County of Camden, New Jersey, appropriating the sum of $1,710,000 therefore, authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds or bond anticipation notes of the Township of Voorhees, County of Camden, New Jersey, in the aggregate principal amount of up to $1,624,500, making certain determinations and covenants, and authorizing certain related actions in connection with the foregoing. Is there a motion on the first reading of that bond ordinance?
motion. Second,
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
aye,
So carried. Our next matter is the first reading of a bond ordinance authorizing various improvements to the sewer utility system in and for the Township of Voorhees, County of Camden, New Jersey, appropriating the sum of $540,000 therefore, authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds or bond anticipation notes of the Township of Voorhees, County of Camden, New Jersey, in the aggregate principal amount of up to $513,000, making certain determinations and covenants, and authorizing certain related actions in connection with the foregoing. Is there a motion on the first reading of that bond ordinance?
second,
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none of those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
aye,
Opposed? So carried. Our next matter is the first reading of a bond ordinance authorizing the acquisition of vehicles and equipment for the Township of Voorhees, County of Camden, New Jersey, appropriating the sum of $1,486,000 therefore, authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds or bond anticipation notes of the Township of Voorhees, County of Camden, New Jersey, in the aggregate principal amount of up to $1,411,700, making certain determinations and covenants, and authorizing certain related actions in connection with the foregoing. Is there a motion on the first reading of that bond ordinance?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none of those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Our next section is the public portion for resolutions only. If anyone from the public has any comments on any of our resolutions this evening, please join in.
Please use the raise hand if you'd like to participate.
Seeing, actually, someone had their hand up for a second.
Yep, one moment. Oh, then it's down.
Let's back up.
Yep, one moment, David. David Sauter.
Mhm.
Mr. Sauter, I don't know if you're still on or not. I'm not seeing your name, but if you are, I believe our tech department is attempting to make it available for you to make comment.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to be able to see, or are you to be able to see me rather? I'll start my video.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. There we go. Can I start talking now?
Yes.
We
Thank
just
you
need
very
your
much.
address
Your
for the
name and
record.
address for the record, please.
Sure. My name is David Sauter. I am president of the Animal Rights Activists of New Jersey Incorporated.
You're muted, sir.
I apologize. I had to mute a couple people because we got some background noise.
Yeah, however, I think this is for resolutions only, correct?
Mr. Sauter, is your public comment related to any of our resolutions this evening?
Mr. Sauter, you're muted, sir.
You're muted, sir.
I'm muted.
Okay, I'm sorry. No, it is not.
Okay.
I was looking for the public comment section.
That's the end of the meeting. We will certainly give you an opportunity then, okay?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Sorry again.
That's all right. Any comments from the public on any of our resolutions this evening?
Seeing no one, move to close public portion.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? The public portion for resolutions is closed. Our resolutions this evening are resolution number 152-21, memorializing an executive session from the meeting of June 14th, 2021. Resolution number 153-21, authorizing a cooperative pricing agreement with the Voorhees Township Board of Education to allow the use of our bid price for miscellaneous road and drainage work services provided by Demeglio Construction, Inc. Resolution number 154-21, authorizing a shared services agreement between Eastern High School and Voorhees Township to provide trash and recycling collection. And resolution number 155-21, approving the renewal of 2021-2022 liquor licenses. Do I have a motion on those resolutions?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Our next resolutions are number 156-21, appointing Police Sergeant Derek Hawkins to the position of Police Lieutenant in the Voorhees Township Police Department. And resolution number 157-21, appointing Police Sergeant Anthony Russo to the position of Police Lieutenant in the Voorhees Township Police Department. Do I have a motion on those resolutions?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? So carried. Congratulations. And at the end of our meeting and after the public portion, I will have the honor of swearing them in. Our next resolutions are 158-21, appointing Eric Winters to the position of laborer in the Voorhees Township Department of Public Works. Number 159-21, appointing Richard Bleetler to the position of laborer in the Voorhees Township Department of Public Works. Resolution number 160-21, accepting the resignation of firefighter Joseph Wysocki from the Voorhees Township Fire Department. And resolution number 161-21, authorizing execution of a settlement agreement between the Township of Voorhees and Richard Taylor. Do I have a motion on approval of those?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? So carried. There's no need for an executive session this evening. We are issuing a proclamation recognizing June as Pride Month in Voorhees Township. Our next section is approval of the minutes from June 14th, 2021, our registrar's report for May 2021, and approval of bills for June 28th, 2021. Do I have a motion for approval of those?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? So carried. Next is comments from committee. I would first like to read a letter that was directed to me by Andy Schellenhammer, Chairman of our Voorhees Business Development Committee, and he asked that I read this at our meeting this evening. Dear Mayor McNona, I would like to personally thank you and Township Committee for all your support for our first Voorhees Township Job Fair. The Voorhees Township Business Committee is a 7-member all-volunteer board. We take pride in creating and implementing creative ideas to help all of our businesses in town. The job fair was one of them. It was a great success, and hopefully there are more to come. I also would like to thank, in no specific order, Joe Lavallo and the Public Works team, Louis Bordy and our great police department, Mario Di Natale from the Community and Business Development Department, the Voorhees Business Development Committee, and Doug Gerhart from the Maintenance Department at the Township. Without their help and support, this also could not have been achieved. So thank you to our Voorhees Business Development Committee, and thank you to Andy Schellenhammer. Also, I would like to remind everybody that this coming Thursday, July 1st at 7 p.m., we are hosting the Philharmonic of Southern New Jersey at the outdoor area in front of Town Hall. Bring your own chairs. Any other comments from our committee this evening?
I want to mention Emily Morgan and the job she did from the Business Development Committee. She really pulled a lot of stuff together. Everybody worked hard on the project. Emily put in the extra effort and time, did a great job.
It was a great event.
Yes, agreed. I agree with that, Harry. Thank you for mentioning to her and just for Miss Morgan for doing so much for our community. So thank you.
Okay, our final portion is our public portion. If anyone from the public has a comment, please join in.
Joining Mr. Sater again.
Good evening again, sir.
You're muted again, sir.
Please unmute.
Unmute.
There we go.
Very good. Sorry again.
Hmm.
I'm a little shaky with this Zoom stuff. Let's see. I started to tell you my address. It's 312 Echelon Road, apartment number 10, Voorhees, New Jersey. I am president of the Animal Rights Activists of New Jersey. I've lived in Voorhees since 1986, almost 35 years. I jog around Voorhees, and over the last few years, I became aware of a very sad issue: the massive slaughter of frogs, toads, turtles, and other animals on Laurel Oak Road, especially between Jefferson Health and Virtuous Center Flyer Skate Zone. Laurel Oak Road also runs behind AAA of the South Jersey office. There are retention ponds on either side of Laurel Oak Road throughout this section of road. I estimate hundreds of frogs and toads achieve their demise on Laurel Oak Road beginning in June of each year. I decided to document this. Now, I apologize. I tried to get in touch with someone to see if I could find a better way to show you these pictures. This is a picture of a deceased frog on Laurel Oak Road. The dark area on the right is a shadow, but you can see the frog legs at the bottom. Here is another deceased frog on Laurel Oak Road that looks like he or she may have been hit by a car. Here are 7 spring peepers that I found deceased on Laurel Oak Road, right behind AAA Automobile Association. As evidence, I took a picture. I lined them up. They do not line up like that. Understand? I lined them up behind AAA, and in the background, you can see the building for AAA. This is just as evidence, so you know what section of the road I'm talking about. This is a picture of a snapping turtle shell left over from his or her demise on Laurel Oak Road. Another picture of a frog or toad deceased on Laurel Oak Road. this shows the size, and I can't tell if you can see, but there is a frog to the right of this card, right there. Almost see it, and I'm just trying to show you the size of that frog in comparison with my registration car registration. This is the frog that was deceased on Laurel Oak Road next to that car. Well, not, I placed the car registration to give you some perspective. That's another deceased frog. Here is an eastern box turtle that I came upon early in the morning on Laurel Oak Road, just prior to him or her being hit by a car and mashed. I took a picture of him. Whoops. Is it right side, left side? Let me see here. Well, it's backwards for me, but or backwards for you. But anyway, this shows that eastern box turtle next to the medical arts sign on Laurel Oak Road. Give you some perspective as to where I found this box turtle. And just so you know, I relocated that box turtle across Laurel Oak Road into a wooded area where there is a retention pond. I'm hoping that they will stay there. Here's a picture of a deceased toad or frog. Again, behind, I believe that's AAA, if I'm not mistaken. Here's a close-up picture of that deceased frog. Looks like he was hit by a car.
Sir,
Yes.
sir. This is Howard Long, the township attorney. You've
Yes.
shown me pictures. I'm sure the township committee certainly gets the idea. There is a time limit on the amount of time at the podium. I want you to get to your point. I don't want you to lose that opportunity.
I only had three more pictures.
And I can appreciate your concerns.
Okay.
So are you asking us to post some signs at that location?
Let me proceed, please. It begs the question, why are these frogs and toads in the road? According to the ChesapeakeMade.com, the frogs love wet weather and are drawn onto busy roads. Scientists aren't sure their motivation for roadway attraction. Likely these frogs and toads are doing so to move to breeding grounds or search for food. They recommend petitioning the city and or your local fish and wildlife department to install frog crossing signs and to get speed limits lowered and to install fencing that diverts the frogs to an under road crossing if one is nearby. If this is a little used road, you might ask that it be closed during certain seasons. Start a citizen group that devotes time to cruising the roads on rainy nights, saving frogs. Get volunteers to help out. The problem with this idea is that frogs and toads just return to the road once they're removed. From frogsAreGreen.org, the frogs are not so much attracted to the pavement, but the rain signaling the fact that it's time to breed. So when this happens, the frogs migrate from where they live, their everyday lives, to a suitable breeding site, which hopefully still exists. Another explanation, and that depends upon the size of the frog. If they are adults, then the above explanation is probably true. However, if they are metamorphs or juveniles, then it's quite likely this is a mass migration away from the breeding site of newly developed froglets to find a good place to live. And the only way they can avoid drying out on the hostile pavement is to travel when it rains. People try many things. During rainy days, you can get volunteers to help the frogs cross the road. You can put signs up to warn motorists and tell them to be careful. You can close the roads, all these different successes depending on manpower. But the best solution is to advocate for some frog tunnels and drift fences to be installed. Essentially, you erect a barrier, which for these species would need to be carefully constructed, as peepers can climb very well and bullfrogs can jump very well. And these barriers prevent the frogs from crossing the road and direct them to an underpass where they can cross the road safely. Obviously, the same needs to happen on the other side so that they don't get squashed coming back. Frogs are cold, from Nancy Clark's blog. Frogs are cold-blooded or ectothermic animals, which means that they do not produce internal body heat. They go to warm pavement during the rain to maintain their temperatures. Another possible reason for them to go to the pavement is for sex, to find a mate. TAR said, that's TARR, said frogs travel out onto the pavement during rainy nights because moist nights make for good amphibian travel weather. They breathe through their skin, so they are susceptible to drying out when the sun is out. When it is rainy, they can go wherever they want and not worry about it. They tend to be the most active at night, TAR said. Mike Marchand, a wildlife biologist with the New Hampshire Fish and Game, said frogs can be seen on the roads throughout the year during storms. When they move, it's typically in the rain, said Marshland, adding the first big spring rainfall tends to bring them out of hibernation. And this usually happens here on Laurel Oak Road around June 1st. Tar said the road also provides warmth as it holds the heat from the day better than the ground. Frogs also find things like worms and insects from the pavement to feast on, he added. Tar said they certainly aren't aware of the danger of vehicles. Most of the time, the first time they are being educated about a car, they are being squashed, end quote. Marchand said the road is certainly a risky, quote unquote, place for frogs to be, considering that many motorists don't even see them. So do we need to educate the frogs? Do we need frog tunnels, signs, warning drivers about frogs, like the signs for deer, turtles, and other species? Because it seems to me, with all the talk about frogs being an indicator species, with their numbers dropping dramatically.
Sir, I must interject. Sir, I have to interject. You do have a 5-minute limit. I've been trying to be very patient when
I'm almost done.
Sir, I'm speaking.
Excuse
and I'm
me.
going to ask you respectfully to let me speak, which I've done for well in excess of your time limit. Sir, would you please conclude your remarks respectfully? Thank you.
You're on mute, sir.
I didn't mute it.
Okay,
Again,
we got you.
Again, the possible options for dealing with this issue are lowering the speed limit and adding speed bumps. There are speed bumps in front of the Acme and Voorhees. There are also speed bumps on Atlantic Avenue in Voorhees. With the inclusion of speed bumps, make a special lane for emergency vehicles. Consider combining the bike lane and emergency vehicle lanes. Bikers should be able to hear the sirens. Again, install fencing, have fencing divert the frogs to underground road crossings. Closure of the road throughout the month of June, install frog crossing signs, although they really don't work. Anything this committee can do to help alleviate the problem would create positive publicity for Voorhees. That's it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. We'll
Thank
take
you,
it under advisement, and I appreciate your comments. Thank you. Mayor?
Thank you.
Sir. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. I appreciate your concerns. I think there's some suggestions that I think we can certainly do. Some are a little more challenging than others. We do actually have an environmental committee that might be interested in looking at this issue and giving us some suggestions as to what we can do to address the issue. I think signage and perhaps putting out some information on our social media to ask people to be a little bit more attentive on that particular road. But I certainly think that we can, Larry Spellman can ask our environmental commission to address this issue, and he can even give you some information that they meet actually once a month, so you can share your concerns with them also. So we appreciate your time. We look to address it, and thank you.
I agree. Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to add, I think that's a fabulous idea regarding the township administrator. Mr. Spellman, maybe you could reach out to Mr. Sauter and even go out there with him and kind of, report back to us on some of the things that he's reporting.
That's a good idea. I saw that Mr. Sauter emailed me about getting on today, so I've got his email address so I can reach out to him I think the fencing might be easy. I think the signage would be easy. Speed humps on that road could be tough. But we are looking at redoing that road in the next year or two through grants. It might be a time that we can add some underground passageways. So
Yeah, maybe Mr. Spellman, you could meet with him and then kind of take witness to some of the things that he's reporting and then, let us know. That would be great.
Yep, I can meet you out there with our environmental people.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sauter.
I'll reach out to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other members of our public who have any comments, please join in.
Seeing nobody else raising their hand, move to close public portion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The public portion is closed. We will now swear in Swear in our officers.
I, Derek Hawkins,
I, Derek Hawkins,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will impartially and justly
that I will impartially and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the position of
of the position of
Lieutenant in the Voorhees Township Police Department
Lieutenant in the Voorhees Township Police Department
to the best of my ability,
best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Lieutenant.
Thank you, sir. I, Anthony Russo,
I, Anthony Russo,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in this state
and to the governments established in this state
and in the United States
and in the United States
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will impartially and justly
that I will impartially and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the position of Lieutenant in the Voorhees Township Police Department
Lieutenant of the Voorhees Township Police Department
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, Lieutenant. On behalf of the entire Township Committee, congratulations to our two new lieutenants, and our meeting is adjourned. Good evening.
Thank you.